Hello and welcome to On Practicing Guitar. Today we're going to talk about the 12-bar blues, and we're going to look at it from a kind of beginner perspective. Very simple chords, really easy to execute, but the thing about the 12-bar blues is that there's some theory involved, and the progression and the structure is applicable to all different really cool songs. I want to say all different types of music, but it's really not. It's basically rock and roll. And of course the blues. So let's just get started. The 12-bar blues is a structure with 12 bars. And the one that we're going to do today is in the key of A. So this is a really good exercise for beginners. The three chords that we're going to use are A7, D7, and E7. I'm going to put in some close-ups and stuff like that. You get a better look. But these chords are just something that you really have to learn. You have to memorize them, and just you're not going to use them all the time. Maybe not, especially not in this combination. But the practice that you'll get in the left hand is something that's really useful. And then also the practice of memorizing, which is really important, the actual structure is super beneficial. So anyway, I'm just going to play it quickly for you. This is kind of like where you want it to be when you're, finishing it. You've got it pretty well together. So. So I added another chord at the end just to end things off. One of the things you might notice is that the progression is kind of circular. So it starts on A, it ends on E, and the E takes you back to A. The rhythm that I played was a shuffle. It kind of goes like long, short, long, short, long, short, long. And it's based on this idea of triplets superimposed on top of a 4/4 beat, right? So you get 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and that's a measure. Okay, so let's just look at the chords for a second. You can download handouts for this lesson on my website, and the name of it is On Practicing Guitar. So basically, these are the three chords. A7. I play with the second and third finger. And then you've got D7. I don't know anybody that's ever played D7 without using 1, 2, and 3. But one of the really important things is that 2 and 3 are in the exact same position as they are in the A7 chord. So you can kind of keep that together and just move it over. E7 is a really simple one, just 2 fingers. One of the hard things here is that you have to make sure that you're not unintentionally muting the open strings, right? So that is one of the sort of where you're gaining some control over your left-hand finger. So here's E7. It's not the most hopping E7 that you're going to ever hear. It's a little really open. So when you first start out, one of the easiest ways to play it is just with quarter notes. You can skip the shuffle. Let me just show you that, right now. rhythm. I'm going to speed it up a tiny bit, okay? Okay, so what's happening with these 12 bars? As I said, it's very important to sort of internalize this structure. What you've got is 3 lines with 4 bars each. Bar, measure, that's our basic unit of time in music. So the time signature is 4/4, also known as 12/8 in this case. When I just played middle time, that was just straight 4/4. So the structure of the progression, the 12-bar blues, is based around a song. It's not something that is, you have instrumentals, but it's usually, the sort of origin is a song, and the song has 3 lines, which follow the 3 lines of the 12-bar blues. And the first line is like sort of your definitive statement of the lyrics. The second line is usually a repetition of that, and then the third line is kind of like the hook line. So it really helps to kind of get an idea of where these things are so you can feel it instead of counting and counting and counting. Okay? So beyond that, there's more structure as well. The first line is basically a statement of the chord A, which is our key chord, right? And I played a D7 chord in the second bar. That's called the quick 4. Not all 12-bar blues do that, but a lot of them do. I put it in there in this case because it makes it easier to count. Some people have a little bit of trouble counting 4 bars in a row of the same chord, and I totally understand that. So we've got our second line, which starts with D7. So the second line is mainly about D7. That's, kind of our progression. We've got A7, D7, E7, and you can call that a 1-4-5 progression. So it's kind of got a progression that's smaller, and then there's kind of a large scale progression. The third line is about E, right? So basically what we're doing is we're going from A to D to E, and then back to A again. So you can count, you can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4 if you want to. Most important, you've got to try and feel it, keep repeating it, and internalize it. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this left hand. Actually, we already took a look at that. But I can't emphasize enough that when you shift, you're going to try to keep the same position. The wrist and the hand and the fingers, especially 2 and 3. The second finger is on every chord. So that's an important thing to look out for. You can add different chords, but for now I would say try these until you master it. Let's just do it one more time. Okay, so one last bit of wisdom here. When I learned how to play the guitar, this was one of the first things that I learned, and I really got somewhere when I had also learned the blues scale, this scale. I think I may have known a few more of them, But basically what I did was that I taped myself playing that progression, and then I jammed over it. And it can be so much fun to do that. I highly recommend it. And that just gets your dexterity going, gets your rhythm going, and all of your sort of just feeling of exploration and kind of composition in a way. So if you have any questions, please get in touch. You can reach me through my website on Practicing Guitar. I'm Christian Bada, and thank you very much for joining me today.